I'll just read it. Before 63, no one had appeared to challenge the delay taxes followed by the local board. See that? 63, 54?
Mm-hmm.
However, in July of that year, a pressure group appeared before the board. Dr. M.E. Dubicet and others petitioned the board to reassign the Negro children residing in Cabarrus County and discontinue the practice of sending them to Concord and Kannapolis high schools. In other words, when he finished Shankletown, he wanted them to go to, I believe he lived in Mount Pleasant.
Go to Mount
Reassign
Pleasant.
them to Mount Pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
The petition signed by 39 Negro citizens living in the county was submitted as following. The undersigned petitioners and citizens of the state of North Carolina and the county of Cabarrus, with children now attending the said county schools, who are eligible to attend, same respectfully petition the Board of Education to cease operating the Cabarrus County schools on a racial basis. We call to your attention that the Cabarrus County school system has operated the county schools on a racial basis prior to and since '54. That all initial assignments are based entirely on race, and that all white children are assigned to white schools and all Negro children are assigned to Negro schools. That all children beginning their first year in the school are enrolled on the basis of race, as mentioned above. This has been the practice of the Board of Education prior to and since '54. In open disregard to the law of the land, we respectfully request that you immediately take steps to cease operating the school on a racial basis and come forth with a plan to operate the schools under your jurisdiction without regard to race as to teachers, students, and other personnel. Please give this matter your prompt attention and notify our secretary. The petition presented by Dubicet and others was received by the board July 27, '63. A reply to the petition was made through a letter from the Board of Ed chairman on August 1, '63. The following letter was mailed. Dear Dr. Dubicet, in reply to the petition directed to me as chairman of the Cabarrus Board of Education, postmarked July 26, '63, said board has at all times in the past endeavored to comply with the law in respect to assignment and enrollment of the students. Each assignment has been made with the best interests of the respective child in mind. In my opinion, the board will also strive to abide by the law in the future as it relates to their duties in the administration of the public school system. The law provides for an application for reassignment by anyone who is dissatisfied with the assignment made by the board. H.E. Klein, Chairman. Now, this is further stated here by me. There is little doubt that the board responded to the request of the pressure group. For instance, the minutes of the board revealed that the board immediately made plans to reassign Negro students. A resolution was adopted at the August 5, '63 meeting, providing for the request of the pupils who wished to transfer from one school to another school. I had that marked too deep. However, one who wished to transfer would be required to meet certain conditions, the resolution stated. Be it resolved that beginning with the school year 63-64, any child living with the administrative unit of Cabarrus Board of Education may request transfer and transfer without cause or reason to any school in the district in which said child may reside, or any child may continue to attend the school in which he or she had been assigned, provided that all such requests for transfer shall be made in writing to at least 90 days before the first day of school, upon forms to be furnished by the Cabarrus Board of Education, subject to the following: request for transfer, name of child, age, grade in school, father's name, place of residence, mother's name, place of residence, and parents. And the Negro pressure group was not to be denied relief from desegregated schools, or segregated schools. Further action came on October 24, '65, when Dr. Dubicet and others filed a formal complaint with the United States Middle District Court of North Carolina. The class action stated in part, plaintiffs or citizens residing in the county of Cabarrus are eligible to attend and are presently attending public elementary and high schools of Cabarrus, which under the jurisdiction, management, and control of the defendants, which are all limited by defendants to attendance by Negro children pursuant to the policy, practice, custom, and usage of defendants operating compulsory biracial school system. Defendants in this case are the Cabarrus Board of Education, a public body corporate of Cabarrus County, North Carolina, C.A. Furr Superintendent, and Cabarrus County Schools. Defendant schools' budgets, disbursements of school funds are made on a segregated basis with the purpose and effect of maintaining a biracial school system in Cabarrus County. And that was the formal complaint. On March 14, 1964, a consent order was signed by both the plaintiff and defendant. In June 1964, 45 Negro children were assigned to all white schools under a freedom of choice plan. See, that's significant. Freedom of choice policy implemented under the court order. From 1964 to 1965, no more than 165 Negroes attended at any one time formerly all white schools. So the first effort was 165 Negroes in 1965. But it should be noted that HEW, with that new school compliance, was going to require schools to be in compliance or lose their federal aid. And that's when Cabarrus County leadership, the superintendent and assistant superintendent J.M. Robinson, you remember that name, or are you familiar with Robinson High School?
Yes, sir.
He was instrumental in getting this geographic assignment plan implemented because he had the vision of wanting to get this thing behind. And I knew him personally because I worked with him. I was his assistant. And he was willing to go to bat to get this done and get it over with one time. So it wasn't too long after that, Cabarrus was taken to court, and then at a later time, not too long, it was the first case dismissed from the courts. So they decided he was instrumental in getting a board to take the attitude, let's get a geographic assignment plan. Now the deal that was so tough about a geographic assignment plan was the Cabarrus and Concord and Kannapolis people would flow across the line like a sieve. If you wanted to go to Concord High, you just put in an application. You live in Kannapolis, you could go to Concord High. Or if you lived in Concord and wanted to go to Kannapolis, just make an application and go. But HEW in 65, when we wanted to comply with that 64, didn't want to lose our federal aid, we decided the best thing, or Cabarrus decided the best thing to do was to go geographic assignment, which meant HEW would not let a single person in Cabarrus transfer to a Kannapolis or a Concord school.
So it stopped the whole...
Concord did not wish to go that route. They kept up with the freedom of choice in Kannapolis. And Cabarrus was put in a position of whether they would accept somebody on a freedom of choice. But Cabarrus had to sign a pledge that they would not release anybody to the other district. And that's what caused most of our community unrest, is that I've been going to school over at Winecoff, and I live down here near the country club. And you're not going to let me continue over there. You had to go to school where you live. And if you'll get that book out, the minute books, go back, you'll see where Dr. Robinson and some of us had to draw district lines. At that